Blog Talk Radio.
There are those that have seen the future. They've seen our disasters and our wars. For years, these remote viewers were a part of a military research program, accurately foreseeing the outcome of global events. But when they expected to see a future of prosperity, what they saw was our end. Now, the military officer in charge of this top-secret program shatters the silence, revealing to the public what the governments of the world have known all along.
The Norwegian government has finished construction of the Doomsday Vault to protect the world's plant species as sort of a modern-day Noah's Ark. More than 100 countries have backed the project.
To warn you.
The Earth began to pick up on a very large event that at first I thought was a nuclear war.
To prepare you.
It caused the deaths of millions of people. I don't want to believe it.
To help you survive.
Knowing where to go with your last tank of gas is so important.
The Kill Shot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Kingdom of Truth Radio. Of course, I'm King JB, the mastermind, and with me, as always, we got C. Will the realist, man. It's another day, a whole bunch more news, man. Chris, man, C. Will, man, it's good to have you back, man. We got a lot of shit to cover today.
Good to be on the show, Gunner. We're going to do it big today.
Man, we got definitely a lot of stuff, man. When I looked at the amount of stories there was, I was definitely shocked, you know, and we would definitely get into that. You know, it's been a week since we talked to the people, man. Chris, man, how's your week been? You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, let the people know how your week's been, man, and what's going on with you.
Life's life. Been a little bit hectic this week. But this past weekend's been good. My family, you know what I'm saying, came up from Florida. My aunt and uncle, you know, they live down there in Zephyr Hills, little retirement community. So they came up for my aunt's birthday over the weekend, celebrated that. Besides that, you know, it's just life as usual, trying to wake up these sheeple to what's really happening out here.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. It's been a week like that. A lot of arguments, a lot of debates about some of the things going on. And, you know, that's kind of the thing I like to do. I do like to kind of go toe-to-toe with some of the sheep, man. It's something that entertains me at times. But, man, I've been basically doing the same thing, man. As you know, I got 7 radio shows that I'm doing now every week. It was 6. Now I'm producing 7. Plus, I'm doing the YouTube show, man, King JB Raw, which is just my thoughts on everything. The first 2 videos will be put up on those sometime this weekend, before tonight ends, maybe tomorrow morning or at the latest. But we got so much stuff going on, and it's official. I will be filming a new documentary, which I'll be having your help with. And I'm excited about it, man. I can't wait to get it out there for all the people. I'm going to do it much like in an Alex Jones type of documentary. It's called False Flags, the movie. It's a documentary. I want you guys to see the history of false flags. I've got all kinds of people lined up, professionals that's going to talk about this, man, from educators to, you know, we're going to talk about why that history has been eliminated from the books, from the education, from, we're obviously leading a bunch of sheep. And I got a few educators that I'm going to talk to in this documentary that will let you know exactly why, exactly what's going on and how that knowledge is being suppressed. And, you know, it's a shame to hear. But for all you listeners out there, the call-in number, if you guys want to talk, is 858-956-2157, as usual, here at KLC Productions. Love to talk to you anytime, man. Don't really have a question of the day yet. I'm sure one will pop up. But, you know, we're just kind of going to bang out the news, man. Today we got Ken Ball coming on the show, Mr. Willis. And what he's trying to do is organize a Florida grand jury. The reason for this, from what I've obtained, and I can't wait to hear him say, is, you know, this is from a libertarian perspective, that we want less government. It's not the government's job to make a lot of these decisions. It is ours. as citizens. And I'm going to be really interested in talking to him and seeing, how he explains the movement. We do not have an APO. An APO will be here next week. He's got a comedy show to do tonight, and he just kind of forgot. So anyway, he's going to be here next week. We're actually going to sit down with him maybe Wednesday or something like that to get it done. As soon as he's available, I don't care. We'll sit down and record an interview. But his interview will be here next week. No question about it. Mr. Willis, man, what do you think about what we got so far, man?
Sounding good. Can't wait to get it underway. And don't forget that I do have a bachelor's degree in film, video, and media studies, so if you might need any help with that documentary. I mean, I know I'm in Michigan and you're in Florida, but there's still many avenues I get to it.
You're actually going to be part of it. I figured that before I even asked. I haven't even asked you because I just figured you were going to be part of it. But for everybody in Florida that's been watching me, I do want to let you guys know Tropical Storm Dorian's now back up to 50%, and I know a lot of you guys that's on my Facebook, you see me posting about this. I love predicting the weather now, and I've been predicting this.
Not only do you love predicting it.
What was that?
I said I want to hear you talk a little bit about how you love storms, because many people down there in your position might feel not the same as you. They might have a little fear in their bones, but you seem to be a storm chaser type guy who is actually hoping to receive a hurricane. So I was just hoping you'd talk to the good people a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. Well, what I do is whenever an Atlantic Ocean, tropical wave comes, it comes off of Africa, the Cape Verde area. And so I follow them from the beginning. I pay attention to the highs and the lows and the troughs and exactly all the weather nonsense that most people don't understand. And based on that, typically I'll make a prediction whether to live or die. My first one I ever did was Sandy. Sandy I watched from birth. And I knew from birth, as it swept, as it did its thing, a lot of people were saying that it wasn't going to make it up to through Florida, and then of course curve over and hit New York. But even down in the Gulf, there was something about it, the way the pressure was, the way it was keeping convection. I knew it was going to do some damage. But yeah, I pay attention to them. I love them. I hope we get a hurricane that gives us 30 feet. 30 feet. Shit, I can't think of the word. Surges where we got to stand on top of our house. I can't wait to get that footage. I do love it. I know it could destroy my whole life, but I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know why. I love hurricanes, man. I love them. But anyway, it's not a weather show, so I'm going to move on past this. No question about it. That's funny shit. But anyway, man, our top story of the day, we got to get into this, man. Edward Snowden, who is a hero to many of us. He has given us so much information. He dropped another bombshell today, C. Will, and that bombshell is it's a big one. It says that 2 solar flares will hit Earth in September, and when that oh shit, let me tell you something. I've been studying solar flares in the sun for about 10 years, and it's always been real big to me. I've always been real big on the end of times, the end of days. I know there's been 5 mass extinctions in the history of the world, and that means there's going to be another. And I've always been kind of on the lookout for what it'll be. Let me read a little bit here. Edward Snowden, hacker fugitive and former NSA contractor, revealed Tuesday, this is from Russia, that a series of solar flares is set to occur in September, killing hundreds of millions of people. Documents provided by Snowden prove that as of 14 years ago, CIA remote viewers knew that the event was inevitable. Ever since the world's governments have been quietly trying to prepare for the sweeping global famine to resolve. Now, this is huge as we continue. Speaking from his room at the airport, Snowden revealed that government preparations for September's catastrophic catastrophic solar flares have been to only limited avail. The flares' results, he said, are known casually throughout the global intelligence community as the kill shot. That is what I started the show off with, was a little bit of information on the kill shot. I recommend everyone out there that's listening to the show, go Google the kill shot, YouTube the kill shot, and you will understand what I'm talking about. This is the solar flare that will basically knock all of our power out and possibly even destroy our ozone. It could do a lot of damage. Now, here's the thing. As part of hiring Snowden as the contractor, the NSA granted the 30-year-old access to all communications on Earth. Now, he has provided the Internet Chronicle with top-secret Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, documents outlining just how terrible the solar flares results will be. Listen, in just 2 months, the kill shot is set to disable all electronic food and water delivery systems. Guess what FEMA has done? What it says FEMA has done as taking steps for this moment. I'll give you one chance at a guess, Mr. Willis. What do you think FEMA is doing in preparation for this?
Nothing.
Oh, yes, they are. FEMA camps. That's what he said.
Yeah.
This will become our death. He said basically FEMA and the Natural Disaster Reduction Center of China have been taking steps for 14 years in light of the findings of Project Stargate. FEMA's own documents provided by Snowden lay out the organization's plans to round up tens of millions of the poorest Americans for housing at secure locations to better facilitate feeding and provision of consumer goods. You know what that means? That's what the FEMA camps are for. To keep us in there and to keep us... Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just going, I said, here it comes. I'm saying, he's got a quote here saying, the massive electromagnetic pulse from the solar flares, or as you just said, the kill shot, will shutter most of the world's electrical system, quote unquote. He said the Americans whose lives are at risk are like the elderly and infirm, depending on technology to enable their receiving home care or life-sustaining medical treatment. He went on to say in the end, as he chuckled bitterly, we'll see who chuckles in the end when the kill shot goes down. He's seen too many brave whistleblowers become subjects of smear and ridicule for using their talents to expose the truth, added Snowden. Basically, that's all that's going on with people. I mean, let's hope that this guy's a quack. I mean, that's what it's basically come down to now. But the fact of the matter is, this could be the beginning of the martial law is completely implemented. Not to mention, who knows where these flares hit? Florida, Michigan, Cali, Iowa. I mean, take cover. It's going to be like the Mayan prophecy last December. I mean, for people that actually pay attention.
Right. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about this whole thing, Chris, is that even if it's not true, if this is their reason to round up everybody for the FEMA camps, that's what I get out of this. Yes, I have been following solar flares, and I do know that it's a very active solar season, and there's a lot of solar storm right now. However, what he's saying is that when this happens, all of the lower poor people are going to be shoved in these FEMA camps so they can control what they eat or consume. If this isn't a concentration camp, right? If this ain't a concentration camp, I don't know what is. This, to me, sounds like they're saying, we ain't going to let all these poor people, if we're running out of shit, if we're not going to let all these poor people run around here eating all the shit. We're going to get
precisely. Think about, like if they say, like you said, if the electric grid goes out, how that right there, I will almost guarantee anarchy if it happens in any any metropolitan city. If say it hits NYC or LA or Houston or any Chicago, if it hits cities like this and the power grid is out, I mean, criminals are going to run rampant, and those of us who know what's going on are going to have to almost do the same to get supplies. If these things happen like this, it could be all-out anarchy. So that's going to be the excuse in order to get these concentration camps going. And I feel like that's when they're also going to bring in the RFID chips.
Yep. Yep. I think, right now, and here's the thing.
I mean, not people already brought in. I mean, on the masses.
Say what?
I said, RFID chips are nothing new. I just mean they're going to start bringing it out for the masses. I think now that's going to be the start of it. People that get, like, say, food stamps,
right.
Type of insurance like that, SSI, retirement. I think those will be the first people that they'll try to push the chips on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, a lot of people that hear about stuff that happens in the solar system, which I pay attention to all the time. I'm a big Nibiru and alien guy. But the point of that I'm trying to make here is that most people, when they hear something about the solar storms, they just like, them people are nuts. Because these sheep, everything that sounds like alien shit, they don't pay, they're like, nah, fuck him, he's nuts. So when they hear something like this, I guarantee you they'll say the same exact thing. That sun ain't going to blow up. The sun ain't going to kill us. And even though scientists have been saying it for 100 years. And so the point is the problem is even though Edward Snowden, who's been right on everything he said so far, says it, I'm afraid that most Americans will look at it as alien mumbo-jumbo, and they won't even pay the slightest attention. And it's actually disgusting, Chris. It's disgusting to know that Americans could have something this major happening, and someone that has the access to the information of it tells us it's happening, and most of the earth will say,
Yeah, I completely agree, but at the same time, I feel they're going to notice this as much as they notice who Edward Snowden is in the first place. Slim to nothing. I mean, like earlier, I posted that photo of like 7 different conglomerates across the United States. Top page story is jokes about Wiener, like Obama jacks Wiener, or like rise and fall of Wiener, like all these little jokes about things that don't matter. You want to know what, people? Presidents, senators, representatives, mayors, judges, and every other man and woman, to be honest, in American society has affairs. Let's be real here. I mean, not every person, but across the board. It's not a stature thing. It's not, okay, the haves-nots are the cheaters and then the haves aren't. Let's be real. They're more cocky with it. And to be honest, before the social media network age and the Internet, we wouldn't know about this. You don't think that Nixon and them had, I mean, it's known about JFK. He was just out there with it, a ladies' man, But you ain't going to tell me that FDR didn't have something going, making the New Deal, he was getting, dirbed off or something. Do not tell me that this hasn't happened throughout history. So the fact that they put all this attention on that is garbage. I mean, it's just like we were talking about the Trayvon thing. Even when that's over, they don't let it end. So now you want to talk about this instead of Snowden or Bradley Manning. Important cases that are going on with whistleblowers here.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that, because you can imagine how much I talk about this, even in my home, right? I was telling my wife this story today, and I said, you know who Edward Snowden is, right? What do you think she said? Keep in mind, this woman lives with me, and I'm constantly on it, constantly talking about it. This woman lives with me and didn't even know who Edward Snowden is. You see what I'm saying? It's insane, man. It's fucking insane. Yeah, how these people. But she knows all about Little House on the Prairie. She knows about.
Exactly. I mean, know about Big Brother or The Bachelorette or
whatever it is she watches.
Breaking Bad. I mean, for the guys out here, like one of my friends today on Facebook, I posted something about this Snowden, this very story we're on topic right now. Guy's same age as me. Basically, I've known him for a long time, and we have similar upbringings at some point in our life to obviously become good friends. But the fact of the matter is, now, somewhere along the line, he's lost the truth. So today he's all like calling my man a traitor, Trader, by the way, saying he's a traitor and all these things. And I'm like, tell me why he's a traitor. Oh, if you talk to the Russians in China, you're a traitor. No, they'll tell me why he's a traitor. Why? Because you heard on the TV to tell you that he's a traitor. He's a whistleblower. You're trained to believe that he's a traitor. Why don't you listen to the truth, open up a story or two and read it? Don't just scroll through the information and not click on and find out. You know how many of these people don't even read the things we post? Don't take the 11 minutes to watch a video with their ADD, can't even pay attention for, that time. And yes, we're awakening people. That's what we're trying to do here. Just like it's a trickle-down effect. If you don't want to wake up, you need to give it a chance if you care about your own freedoms in this nation. So I asked my own friend, why is he a traitor? I get no answer. So that's what I'm saying about you were talking about your wife. It goes down to our friends, too, male, female, across the board.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it's insane, some of the things that, it's really insane, some of the, I don't know, man. It's insane how some of the sheep are, man. And here's another one. And all we can really do is just hope that they someday wake up, man. Just remember, we weren't always awake. And so I keep that shit in mind. And I say when they wake up, it's going to happen, and it's going to be big. And they're going to see. And I don't know, man. It's going to be exciting. So anyway.
It might be too late.
What was that?
I said it might be too late. We got to get into that topic sometime, too.
Absolutely. It may be too late, especially if what happens in September happens. Then things may be extremely late. If Edward Snowden's right, we're in trouble, man. We're in trouble. And a lot of people are going to die because of their ignorance. And I'm going to hate to see that, you know. Good, you know.
How many people are going to starve to death in like a baby state? There's so many people that will starve to death just in a baby state because there's no clue of how to survive. Zero.
Yeah.
Like, you depend on your computer and a lot of people and the TV to get you by. If the power grid goes out, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there with no electric? How many people are going to die in the summer heat? How many people are going to freeze in the winter cold? They're going to sit on their ass because they don't know anything to do, waiting for someone to tell them what to do. That's what I feel about being too late. These are the same people that don't open their eyes now. And what can we do? Even people like us, this is what worries me. Even people like us that are awakened to the facts, that are trying to be ready and get ready for the change, the second revolution, or whatever you want to call it, the breakdown, the fire, the kill shot, whatever it may be that twists America and opens the floodgates to this spiral. What are we going to do? I mean, to be honest, I don't know completely what I'm going to do. Who am I going to go to? It's not like everyone's like, hey, rally, let's go to rally point A and the event of this at 10:30 on this date. Like, what would you do?
Yeah, you're right, man.
That'd be a topic for a whole other day. You have to switch the topic because that must be annoying for a whole other day.
No, you're absolutely right, man, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Something else, man, that came out today that was very, very interesting that kind of shocked me. A video surfaced that was, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the video, but this is supposedly the video of Michael Hastings, the journalist, who many believe was basically murdered for what he knew. A video was surfaced of his supposed crash. I watched the video. All of a sudden, you know, his car, you know, people say he was a conservative driver, and all of a sudden his car was going at an absurd, you know, crazy rate of speed, and then it just blew up as it hit the tree. If you watch the video, it looks literally like it just blew up, and it's crazy. The only question is the only problem is we can't see the front of the car to know if it happened when it hit the tree or what. But evidence shows that Michael Hastings' car was definitely blown up. The engine was in the back instead of the front. It was blown completely up. You know, it's one of those things where, like you think back to 9/11, how can things just blow up that deeply and things be completely incinerated? And kind of the same thing here. You see what happened with Michael Hastings' vehicle. completely blown up. The engine flew halfway down the street. People saw it, and to see this video surface, it kind of shocked me. Your thoughts on the video, C-Will?
I have seen these videos. I feel this is like another just swept under the rug that no one's going to care about it, and no one's going to ask any questions about that explosion because they're told what happened, and that's enough for them. For them, that they can move on to the next story. That's it is what it is. And 98% of the people are going to say, who's that guy? Oh, okay, that's a sad story. In other news, the royal baby, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think you're 100% right, man. I think it will get swept under the rug. My question is this: Michael Hastings, was talking to WikiLeaks. He even had emails saying that the government was now coming to get him. He was about to go in hiding, and then this happened. He said he had some news, some earth-shattering news, and then this happened. Do you believe this was an assassination? Or do you believe he legitimately just got in a car accident, even though he had never even had a speeding ticket before?
I mean, that's hard to speculate on that. Obviously, as a conspiracy theorist, I'm always leaning in the direction of nothing is a coincidence, but I don't really want to make any decisions on that because so it's a little much to. I got enough stories I'm trying to wrap my head around and trying to add some more to the pot here. But what I will say is, coincidentally, I was watching the movie Shooter today. You ever seen the movie Shooter, Gunner?
No.
Oh, you really, really need to check that out. It's a Mark Wahlberg flick. But anyway, it's about like an infantryman that he's a sniper over, and they leave him out to dry, basically. He comes back home, turns into the complete libertarian. They try to set him up or whatever, but there was something so similar to this about killing the journalist. Like, they just popped him in the head. The person who was finding it out, they try to do away with everyone that could tie the truth in. They try to eliminate him. And there was a guy in this movie, the reason I'm bringing this up. He sat down, he said, every person on the grassy knoll that pulled the trigger that day were dead in a week. He said they were all buried on the hill. He was like, that's the funny thing. No one knew which one did it because there was probably 3-4 guns, and only one had the kill shot. The rest were, blank. So that way you stand up in lie detector, you never really know who the real culprit was. So it could be just another one of those things. It could also be like the 9/11 commission report people that testified and they were left out of the commission report. They were in the basement of 9/11 in the World Trade Center the morning of the crashes, and they felt explosions beneath them that blew them 2 feet off the ground north in the air. Not north, but in the air. Levitated like 30 seconds before the crashes of the planes above. So, I look out. So go ahead.
I just wanted to say I have opened the chat room for the web page. I have opened up the chat room, so feel free to chat amongst each other. The more people that chime in, I know a lot of people listen over the phone, and a lot of people listen in different ways. But feel free to call in. Feel free to chat. We're always wanting to hear what you got to say. Chris, man, I'm gonna tell you what bothers me about the Michael Hastings situation. Sorry to cut you off. Is that we are journalists. Do you understand that if we break a story, we could be in the same exact situation? So this may be bigger than Edward Snowden. If it's getting to the point where we're so Nazi Germany-ish that if we report something that's the truth, if we report anything that the Stasi leadership doesn't like, then don't you think, or don't you somewhat fear that could be us? Or that could be the next man. Or that could be Alex Jones. Or that could be, who's the crazy dude on, I forgot his damn name. But anyways, it could be a lot of different people.
Glenn Beck.
Say what?
Who, Glenn Beck? What did you say, Glenn Beck?
Yeah, it could be Glenn Beck. It could be Adam Kokesh. It could be a lot of different people, man. You see what they're doing with Kokesh right now. I'm just saying, a lot of people put their lives on the line to report this type of thing, man. And it could be anybody. It could be the guys listening to this show. It could be the guys checking out the website. And that's my point. is that they're trying to suppress the information. And we're going to have a story later on the new internet laws that they're trying to propose. And you guys are it's going to blow your mind. But that's what I'm saying, Chris. Don't you think like that? Don't you worry about that concept?
I mean, I do have a tail of that in my stomach, but at the same time, I feel the boy Patrick Henry. It's give me liberty or give me death. So I'm going to take it whatever, and I'm going to shout it across the mountaintops, across the oceans, across wherever I can, because this is a United States of America was once a great union and has the ability to rise to be a great union again. Let the states start governing themselves again instead of, we don't need this large centralized government. It's just the first step to the New World Order. They already got, they were talking about the Amero. Have you heard about these interstate highways that go from the top of Canada to the bottom to Panama, straight through? I mean, there's so many things there that got in order, they just waiting to push the button on it. But like I said, I'm just here shouting across, like, I'm not a whistleblower because I'm not running finding out these facts. But I'm going to help tell it. I'm going to help spread the word. I'm going to let the people know that wouldn't find out otherwise. So listen in, tell your friends, open their ears.
Absolutely. Wake everybody up. Now, man, next story, man, this one's kind of crazy. The government promises to stop lying due to the pressure of alternative media like the Drudge Report. I love it. They're like, since y'all keep catching us, man, we're going to be cool. They remind me of little kids that you keep catching doing bad shit, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to do it no more, once they're caught. But and now that they're caught, thanks to the Drudge Report, thanks to, crazy-ass Alex Jones, who I love his passion. Thanks to, even Glenn Beck, who I'm kind of curious about which side he's really on. Thanks to people like yourself. Thanks to people like me. Thanks to the other listeners that help them spread this type of stuff. I think it's making a difference, man. They're getting scared. And this was a quote that they said during this interview about the DOD Public Affairs. It says, "We cannot hide our bad stories. Bad news gets out one way or another, and we must come to terms with telling bad stories as well as the good," the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs, George Little, stated. Then he said, "When bad things happen, the American people should hear it from us, not a scoop on the Drudge Report," Little said. He said, just as the term Google became synonymous with search engine, Drudge Report has become the catchword for all the independent forms of journalism alive on the web today. And he went on and on. And it was funny because he went on to actually say, "Hey, we're not going to do this line. You're going to get the truth from us." I think first of all, I love the fact that he's admitting. Second of all, I see this as an attempt to discredit alternative media in some ways by saying, okay, now we're going to be better than them. But the fact that he even had to mention it, in my opinion, backfires on him. And it shows people that the alternative media is getting this shit right. They're getting it right, and they're scared, and they're saying, oh, shit, we got to tell people. We got to do this ourselves, or we're losing the revolution. I hate to use Alex Jones' word, but we're losing the info war. And I think that's what's going through their head. Your thoughts on this, Chris, man? This is big.
Yes, it's huge, and that's why we're here while we can be. That's what I was saying earlier, because we never know the second that the switchboards get turned off. We never know the second then we stop getting our information. Just because our eyes are open to it doesn't mean we don't need the ability to receive it. And I feel like as soon as it's more than 50-50, where people are starting to leave alone the national news media, the CBS, the ABC, the CNN, the Fox. People, I'm so tired of hearing you argue about CNN and Fox News. You swear to death that they're different. You swear to death that it's red and it is red. It's like red and blue. It's Democrats, Republicans. Go pick up the book. But I'm saying it's red and blue. It's like the red and blue states every election. Look how they do it. And look how they paint the picture in your mind. They have you divide and conquer. divide and conquer. It's like, here we go, I'll bring it up again, the Trayvon with the race. Divide and conquer. Blue and red, divide and conquer. CNN, divide and conquer. ABC, CBS, NBC, divide and conquer. There's so many people that, I only watch the CBS evening news, or I only watch, the ABC nightly news. I will not watch the other station. It's all regurgitation of what you're allowed to say. So, yeah. I mean, yes, this is a huge story because whenever I feel that's what they're worried about. And the more people that start opening these avenues of ulterior news sources, the more fear that they get. And if it starts getting out of hand, that's when we're going to get the censorship on the internet. That's when these things are going they push play.
Absolutely. And we're going to get in. Absolutely. I mean, you're 100% right. And then actually, I'm going to skip a couple stories we'll get back to because I just feel this, since you're on it, we need to talk about it. This is very important. Under the new proposed internet laws, we will all be felons. This is something new that's just outrageous. Here, let me give you an example. Did you know it's a misdemeanor to use your work computer to email your friends? If you check the score of the ball game from work, it's also a misdemeanor. If you make reservations for dinner from your work computer, you have also committed a crime. If you check your Facebook account on your lunch break from your work computer, you could be fined and go to jail. The law which criminalizes such behaviors is called the 1986 Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. If the Department of Justice gets its way, they want to make misusing your computer in any way a felony under the exceeds authorized use of any computer, including your own personal computer. For all of the above offenses, you could be prosecuted and most likely pay a fine. However, if the Department of Justice gets its way, you will go to jail because they will prosecute you as a felon if they convince Congress to strengthen this 1986 law. It sounds to me like a 1984 law, but it's close enough. It's basically Facebook becomes fascist book. It's just insane how all this, it's insane that they're making tyranny. I think this is the first step. I think this is the first step to the control of the internet and us being shut down. If they get this law across, man, I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable on the computer, man. It's kind of crazy. Your thoughts?
Well, I feel like this is another way for them to make the average law-abiding citizen no longer a law-abiding citizen by passing these laws under our noses and no one even paying attention. Like the average person, like including myself, we don't know 70% of the laws that are passed, and you only know about the ones you research 9% of the time, besides the ones you hear that they want you to hear. You have to research these things on your own. And I just feel like this is another way for them to keep us enslaved mentally to this system and way of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Check this out. Have you ever registered into an online dating website? Do you think anyone has ever understated their weight on a dating website or have shaved a few years off their age in an online profile? If you have submitted a slightly embellished resume to a prospective employer via the internet, you could go to jail as a felon under this new law rules. Technically, under this proposal, if a male lied to a female about loving her in an email, solely for the accused purpose of having sexual relations, the male could be guilty of a relation. That means if I tell a chick, hey, baby, I love you, to try to get me some of them sugar walls, some of them cakes, I can go to jail. What kind of shit is that? Every man in this country will be locked up.
At the same time, isn't like lying about your age what women base what they would do? Like when women have always lied about their age, it's like they're supposed to.
Yeah, we have a caller. Will, we're going to go ahead and take a caller. I'm just going to say your area code 319. You're live on Kingdom of Truth Radio. Who we got? What's your comments?
It's T-Dub, just trying to see what y'all talking about, man. You know what I'm saying?
Who's this?
Trav, T-Dub.
Oh, hey, that's what's up, man. Hey, that's what's
Hour over here. Hour Midwest over here, man. Shit.
Hey, that's what's up, man. How things going with you, bro?
What's the topic?
Hey, man, we got all kinds of topics, man. Edward Snowden has released documents, right, that say that there's going to be solar flares that's going to destroy the Earth in September. This is legit. From not necessarily destroy the Earth, but shut off all our electricity. We got that going on, and some new internet laws that say if we tell a chick that we love her online, and we don't, and we're just trying to get some cakes, that basically we're committing a felony. If we tell somebody that we weigh 235 pounds and we really weigh 260, that's a felony. Right now they're trying to pass internet laws under the 1986 Computer Fraud and Abuse Act that basically even checking our Facebook at work, because we're not supposed to, technically, as they say, could be a crime, could be a felony. What's your thoughts on that, Trav?
Wow, man. See, they trying to shut it down, man. They know that everybody, going to the internet to express everything. They trying to shut it down, man. Trying to get people to get away from it now.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, they are. So have you ever told a chick that you loved her to get some cakes?
What's that again?
Have you ever lied and told a chick that you loved her when you didn't, just to get to the walls, just to get in there?
Did I ever lie about what?
Have you ever lied and told a girl online that you loved her or that she was more beautiful than she was just to get some booty? Have you ever done that on the internet?
Not on the internet.
Not on the internet. Yeah. Then you good. You ain't committed a felony. But a lot of cats have. You know what I'm saying? If you're on a dating website or even on Facebook, if you lie about your age, lie about your birthday, lie about anything, even your job, you know what I'm saying? If you lie on the internet and say that you make $50,000 a year and you only make $25,000 a year, you're committing a felony, Trav. You can go to jail. This is
lock everybody up. About good, Gunner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every man. Go ahead.
How about this? Say, if that's illegal, how many times you went to renew your driver's license, or you went to renew your ID down the Secretary of State here, or Department of Vehicles, or whatever it is down there, and if they ask about your height or weight, you ain't never lied with the weight thing, or been like, am I 6'1" or 6 flat? I can't really remember. So what? Now I could get tagged for that? Like this is getting out of control.
Right.
Like, to answer your other question, like I myself, I have done that over the internet. I mean, I never was the one to tell a woman I loved her if I didn't, but I damn sure lied to get some keys. I mean, I ain't gonna tell a woman I love her. I always thought that was for like a fake player. You should never have to use that card. You know what I'm saying? Unless to close the deal. But
you shouldn't have to. But I've done.
Yeah, legal arrest somebody.
Right. I didn't know all this shit was crimes. And it's pretty crazy, man, what's going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, they gonna lock all the Heat fans up and saying LeBron James better than Michael Jordan then. Goddamn, man. Them all them motherfuckers going to jail.
As they should. As they should. I don't know. No, wait,
I'm gonna let them know they creating a crime when they talking that shit, man.
Yep.
Agreed. Hey, you know what's crazy? He's right. It is a felony. That's what's crazy. If he's right. That's
basketball. I'll tell you what it is, man. Basketball blasphemy is what it is.
Hey, man, that's just insane. Hey, Trav, man, I really appreciate you calling, bro, and I definitely appreciate you listening. Yeah, I'll let you later, man. You got any final comments or anything?
No, man, I'm just peeping y'all out, man. I'm going to listen to it later on, see what y'all came up with.
Oh, no doubt, man. I appreciate it, man, and we'll get at you as soon as we can. Go tell everybody they ain't going to jail.
All right.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, he's right, though, and we're getting a kick and we're chuckling and we're laughing, but dude is right, and he's on ice right now, and I thank you, Trav, for listening. Thank you for calling, man, but he's right. All these guys out here, man, that are doing any kind of lying. And the chicks do it all day. They should get locked up for all that damn fake hair that they got in. But the truth of it is that the truth is that right now, any time that you lie on the internet, it's a felony now, and that's a shame. I mean, I don't get into lying. I don't think people should lie, but I don't think it should be a damn felony. I mean, 'cause there's a lot of people on some bullshit on their computer because that's what they do. You know why they're doing that, right? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Tell me why.
No, I was going to say, you know why they're doing that, right? Because what they're going to do is say all of us alternative media is lying. And so what they're going to do is say, okay, he said Barack Obama is a tyrannical leader, so he's lying, send him to jail. That's what this is all about.
Makes sense.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it does. But anyway, there were some crazy things going on, man. And I know our itinerary is all screwed up. But I'll say this. I know, Chris, you got something you want to rant about. So we're going to go into the next segment. And we still got plenty of news. But I told Chris I would give him his time. So, Chris, this is your time. You have the floor to do whatever ranting that you got. This segment's called See Willis Rants. Let's hear what you got, bro. What's the problem?
Man, I got to address something. This week, on our page, there was someone I've been going back and forth with. I don't need to say no names. They know who they are. I hope they're listening. All I want to do is tell you, you need to pay attention before you comment, and then try to twist and manipulate text to serve your own whatever trolling purposes is clearly what it's about. So my thing to you is I scrolled back. I tried to see if you had any logistics to your argument. There was none. There was zero. Me and the Heartbreaker, is his middle name, was having a conversation about race on our page. And that's the Let's Talk Everything on Facebook page. Come feel free to join it, listeners. So we were going back and forth, and I had said to him that the things that we place on Facebook are in response to everyone making all these stories about Trayvon this and blacks are profiled that, and like all we're trying to do is counteract that with this story is a diversion. We're bringing all those other stories on the other end that may happen to be, oh, the whites get shot too by, blacks. That happens too. It always isn't all about that. Or maybe like that you were bringing up, the black-on-black crime in Chicago and how that goes on ignored. I mean, across the United States, but an alarming rates in Chicago. So I scrolled back, I looked at this, and my man tagged me in a status, in a post that I wasn't on with the person I was commenting with a day later almost, something I did, and then accused me of being the one that posted it and started it. Then, I'm a power gunner, but I don't know if you've seen this. He had the nerve to call me stupid for saying that you couldn't articulate on the Internet. Now, people, I don't know if you know what the word articulate means, but if there's no voice, if there's no spoken syllable, it's not articulation. You may structure a sentence well, but it's not articulation. You have to speak articulation. So to call me back and say twice, do you want that to be your final answer? I'm a writer. I'm a journalist. I do this. I have a degree in it. That doesn't matter. But the point is trying to call it, really, Google it. Go watch Charlotte's Web, a child show. Isn't it great that I articulate? Isn't it grand that you can understand? So I don't know if you need to go take your mood-stabilizing pill or whatever it is out there, but you really don't need to bust at people that are trying to awaken you, and we don't need to be dividing and conquering on, especially when you hop in status to status. So please, I hope that you had called in tonight, because I really want to speak to you. And I do apologize for calling you out your name, even though you initiated it first, because that's not how I get down. So if you would love to call in, I would love to speak to you like a man and discuss these issues we have. And I heard what you said. I'm not going to call in because I see how Piers Morgan and all these guys twist and make people look stupid. Nah, man, that's how you do on the text. You can't take somebody's sentence and leave one word out, use it around, and then call them a liar because you're using it to serve your purpose. Then they can't speak to you on a man-to-man basis to let you know what was meant. There's no emotion tied to text. And also, again, you cannot articulate over writing. So that's basically all my rant was. You know what I'm saying? What you talking about, Willis? See, Will rant, whatever you want to call it. I'll just
we got another caller, man. We're going to go ahead and take another caller.
Man,
it's probably not. It's probably not. It's area code 352. You're live on the Kingdom of Truth Radio. Welcome, man. Who we got and what's your comment or question?
What's up, Gunner? It's Ken.
Hey, Ken. It's good to have you in here. You got on in here a little early. We definitely appreciate you calling, man. Oh, hey, it's no problem at all. Listen, we got Ken Ball in here. Ken, you've been doing some great work, and I'm glad you're here. And I'm definitely ready for what we're doing. Chris, we're going to get back to your rant in a minute because it's definitely funny and definitely important. But Ken, man, you've been doing a lot of... What was that?
And my rant was finished. It's perfect timing. Please go ahead.
There we go. Mr. Ball, man, I've been watching you for quite some time in the libertarian rooms, and I've been seeing that you're on quite a mission these days. And just to introduce you to the listeners, would you care to tell them who you are and what you're doing right now, what your history is, and what your causes are right now?
Exposing the fraud. That pretty much wraps it up. Because, man, just about everything and everywhere we turn, we are being beaten down by fraud. We are being tricked by deception at every turn by what we think are government employees, what are actually private contractors. If anyone's never read the 4th Administrative Ruling from Rod Class, I suggest you Google it and look at what you're up against. We all, most people are aware of what the de facto government is in the United States Incorporated, that this country is run like a corporation. And guess what? We're the product. And we're expendable. Right. We're a throwaway product.
Truth.
Okay, that's why we got so much of our brothers and sisters sitting in jailhouses on crimes with no victims. And you hear like the crowd with Adam Kokesh screaming and yelling this stuff. But you can stand on the street and scream this until you're blue in the face, until you pass out. It's not going to make a difference. What we have to do is we have to pull our act together, and we have to act like we are the 4th branch of the government, because that is who we are. Okay, the power always comes back to the people. And that is why we're trying to form these grand juries across the nation. But I want to warn people, you cannot be a part of a grand jury and be a registered voter with the de facto government. Anybody who's registered to vote thinks their vote counts. Well, I'm sorry. You're just fooled by the deception again. And if you want to be a part of a grand jury, you pull together 27 or 33 people, you can hand a case to you, and you guys start making decisions. That's how you do this.
Is there a way to retract your registration for voting if someone has registered before? Is there any way you can explain it to them? Good.
I would just tell them, come to the Florida Grand Jury Forming Now Facebook group. You've got my name. You can get on my personal page. All cohesive contracts you want to get out of. But let me clear something up for everyone. One, they didn't disclose it when you were registering to vote that you were becoming a citizen, and it's basically a second-hand product to being an American. Okay, they didn't reveal to you in the contract when you sign up for your driver's license that you're giving away your first, fourth, 14th. You're giving away your constitutional rights, okay, and signing up for something that is giving you a license to do something that's already lawful. If people are understanding the right to use the roadway, which many call the right to travel, which I would urge you to correct yourself, that it's the right to use the roadway. Traveling is another de facto term. Okay, that's why these people say, I'm exercising my right to travel. Well, get out of the car, you're going to jail. You know, we are the product. Okay, we are the product of the statutory rape. Because remember, all legislation in courts are supposed to be bound by the Constitution. Now, how many non-laws that we think are laws do we have out there that are just to rape people for revenue? Every single one of them. Every single one of them. This ain't no joking matter. And I'll tell you what, if we don't all pull together, black, white, yellow, green, and purple, we're going to have some serious problems. We're going to stop letting this de facto and their shit-brain mainstream media, no-brain media is what I call it, keep lying to us and trying to divide us. And I applaud many, many men and women that I see online that say, you know what, they're not going to do this to us. And we need to hold strong. We need to hold our ground.
You know why
the grand juries?
Go ahead, Ken.
Well, the grand juries are a way for us, the people, to go after these corrupt public officials that we see screwing over our brothers or sisters, mothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers. And we put a stop to this. Because if we don't pull our act together and do something soon, this thing's going to spill out on the streets. And everybody loses.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely. I think, well, I was just going to say, I think that they are trying to cause a racial revolution to prevent an actual revolution. And I'm not saying whether it has to be violent. I think revolutions can be either way. But I think that's what they're trying to do, is start a racial revolution. Therefore, therefore we're not ready for a potential revolution between people that cherish the Constitution and people that don't. Is that what you're going?
That is the simplicity of take two of your enemies and turn them against each other. Once they've almost destroyed each other, then come in and destroy them both. Okay?
Absolutely.
That's just the simplicity of that, you know?
Right.
Like I say, if we don't pull and start acting like the fourth branch of government that we are, and recognizing who we are, and that the authority lies with us, and we can take care of this in a civil manner, we're going to find ourselves in a real bind. Let me tell you something. They've been tightening this noose up for a very long time. Now it's starting to where we almost can't breathe. And that, just like you were talking about, what internet law are you talking about, man? That is a non-law. Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is no law at all. It has no duty or obligation to follow it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
just like the gun laws. Just like the gun laws. If it's against the Constitution, and I think that's what Adam Kokesh is trying to prove. He's trying to prove, and I commend him for what he's doing. I think he's trying to prove that these laws are not real laws, and they're trying to incarcerate us based on laws that do not exist to begin with, and that's against our Constitution.
They already are. Let's pull this together. Let me tell you something. A grand jury can come in and free everyone that's in jail on a nonviolent crime with no victim. That's the authority we have. We can nullify anything. Okay, we can form a grand jury to stand over every judge and every agency across this nation. And every time there's something questionable, the grand jury pulls together, goes in, grabs the case, looks at it, and goes, "Are you kidding me? I'll indict you for treason." Okay? Right. And I don't think we have enough rope. We have to grow some hemp, make some more rope. Okay, but we don't need to come to that. We can try to make amends with these people, let them realize the gig is up.
Right.
Okay? The gig is up.
Absolutely.
Now, let me tell you about some positive things going on. If you haven't heard of One People's Public Trust, well, I have a verified friend that just zeroed out his mortgage on his house by giving them a courtesy notice. Effectively, the United States Incorporated, all of its subsidiaries, the state of Incorporated, have all been lawfully foreclosed on. And that happened the end of last year. I'm going to tell you and all your listeners, if you haven't seen what One People's Public Trust is, look at it, learn it, see what's going on there, keep an eye on it. It is another trust. There is some questions to it, but the process is working. And the process works by using the courtesy notice. You know anybody whose home's in foreclosure? Tell them they need to get on this, look at it, study it, get knowledgeable, learn what it's about, and then implement it. Okay? It's game over. And people thrown in the street. We got more empty homes than we have people on the street.
That's true.
And how wrong we know this is. Yeah, it's wrong.
Absolutely, man. So let me ask you this, what does the average citizen that is listening to you, including myself, that says, you know what, he's right, we got to get together, we got to do this. Can you sit down a step-by-step plan for us to maybe follow that could help us get to where you're wanting to go, to get into this possibility of doing the grand jury? To basically tell them the powers that be, F you. We're here to live by the Constitution, and we're here to support it. How can we follow step by step what you're doing? Because this is amazing stuff.
Sure. I would tell everybody that study Justice Scalia's Scalia and Tonan's majority ruling. Just come to my page. Ken Ball. You've got my page. Your listeners are familiar with you. They can find me on your page. From there, I can share all the other groups that I have, and I can also start introducing you to all the other people that I work with and that I share and get knowledge from and share knowledge with. Some that are more knowledgeable than me.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's how we do this. We pull together. We start communicating. We start meeting. We get on the phone. We start getting to know one another. We start seeing who's going to be serious and who's going to run back and stick their head in the sand. Because that's what happens when things start to get real. People just want to run and stick their head in the sand because I don't want it to affect me. And let me tell you something. If you stick your head in the sand, eventually it's going to get to you. Okay? And if your head's in the sand, you're just going to get kicked in the ass.
Right. You're right.
And that's just the raw facts.
I do think there's a lot of people out there, and I don't mean to use this terminology, but I don't know any other terminology to really use. I think there is a lot of people that do that tough talk, and when it gets serious, they will kind of puss out, and that is an issue. I think that is the main reason why us as citizens have not taken back over what is ours. We got these police officers and everything acting like they're our authority rather than our civil servants. There's a lot of things going. And it's because us as a society, the average person doesn't know the truth, and they may talk it online, but as soon as they get in front of that officer, as soon as they get in front of that warrantless vehicle search, they kind of back up and they say, okay, I don't want no trouble, I don't want to get beat up, I don't want to go to jail, I don't want to get tased. Is there any way, in your opinion, that we can kind of turn those people into maybe, have a little bit more balls, so to speak? Is there a way that
we need all the best? You need all the best constitutionally knowledgeable people. Okay, that's a must. Now understand that the Constitution, these constitutionally guaranteed rights. Okay, those are for public office. That's the rules for them to follow. We have unalienable rights given to us by our Creator, God, however you want your vision of it. But you better think they come from somewhere, because if you think they come from nothing, well, they're going to laugh at you and they're going to throw you in a cage. Oh, this guy thinks his unalienable rights come from nothing. So you really have to explore yourself and your thoughts.
It puts me in an awkward situation, definitely. As you know,
brother,
I may be one of the few atheist, constitutional-minded people. And now that you say it like that, because I do believe our rights are inherent. I think we inherited these rights. And now that I think about it, basically I'm saying that these rights are inherited, But when we rewind the tape all the way to who gave them to us, I'm sitting here saying, well, there ain't a God. So you may be right. You may have just kind of, you may have just nailed me into a level where I got to think a little deeper. So congratulations with that.
You really have to explore yourself on this one.
Yeah.
I understand people start screaming, I got constitutional rights. No, you have constitutionally guaranteed rights. Okay? There's a little difference. I got constitutional rights. That means you get them from somebody.
Right.
All right, well, they're constitutionally guaranteed, unalienable from your Creator. If you want to think the Creator was a big bang in the sky, that's great, but think it came from somewhere, because if you think that you can stand on your ground saying, I have constitutional rights, well, understand what the constitutionally guaranteed rights are for. They direct back to those inherent rights endowed to us by our Creator. That is why the writing is in there, because that way no man can stand over you. When these judges, cops, public officials try to stand over us with their authority, they're saying they're your God.
Right.
And you don't want that.
You're right. You're right. They are.
Yeah, ask that judge if he thinks he's your God. See if he doesn't have a little different attitude. Because unless you're retaining those unalienable rights given to you by as they're written in the documents, by endowed to us by our Creator, not trying to pin down who you think your Creator is or who this person thinks their Creator is, but that there is a Creator.
Absolutely. That makes sense. That makes sense, man. And you're one of, I've talked to many pastors and preachers all my life, and I've been able to slick talk my way around what they're saying based on logic and fact. But you have put the first thing in front of me that I can ever remember where I can't really debate it, because I am saying that our rights came from somewhere. And then when I rewind the tape to where they came from, I don't have an answer. It is very possible you just gave me an answer. And, that's why I'm glad you're on the show, man. I knew that you would open eyes, and you've even opened mine in some areas. But obviously we got the grand juries. I know you want to do it all over the U.S. Right now we're focusing on Florida. But, what's the plan, man? How can we get this to expand? Is this just continued sharing on social media, getting out there, talking about it? How can we do it? Negative. First, we start forming up. That's why I started the page. I suggested everyone who has an interest in this and is sincere about following through, start setting up a page for your county. Okay? Sure. They need to know that we're grouping up to do this in a civil manner. Okay? Right. To attack us for following through on our due process and coming together and calling out. You got a police officer in your community that beats somebody half to death for no reason at all? Grand jury. Don't let them take care of it eternally. We see how that happens, don't we? Now there's a lot of good guys out there that they get into that business, because it is a business, because they work for a corporation. What they're not realizing is, and what many aren't realizing is, on the world court level, the Uniform Commercial Code of the One People's Public Trust, they called them out on their debt-slave business that they're running. Debt-based corporations, the fiat money, the funny money, the monopoly money. Because right now, man, we're playing a game of monopoly, risk, and life all wrapped up into one game. And we're losing. Okay? I agree. And for all you listeners out there, I have put the link to his Facebook group in the chat room. I don't know how many people are in the chat room. It always gives me awkward numbers. People say they're in there when
it'll make its way around, and you got this show recorded, so once it goes in your archives, you can always reference them back to it so they can hear exactly what I'm screaming.
Oh, that's absolutely. We always get thousands of listens on the archive.
And I think you know a little bit about my personal deal. I go to court here in Marion County, Florida, on July 30th at 3 p.m. That's Tuesday, 3 p.m. in room 2F. I need as many witnesses there as I can. My son was unlawfully taken from me 5.5 years ago. That's what got me into this. That's what drove me to start researching and man, I thought my story was going to blow everybody's mind. Hell no. Guess what? It's happening to everybody, and this is our kids. And if we ain't got the cojones to stand up and protect our children from this kind of fraud that they're perpetrating on us day in, day out, and man, we've done failed. We failed our children. That is something you're going to not be able to live with.
Oh yeah.
Because man, we're allowing a fraudulent person who's getting a paycheck to come in and wreck your life. And if that ain't some New World Order shit, if I ever heard it, I don't know what is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard Melissa Harris Perry on MSNBC. She says, and I'm going to upload this and play it for everybody later. She says MSNBC says our children do not belong to us. They belong to the community.
Right.
Right. They're trying to. They chased a man to Cuba from Florida here because him and his wife.
I followed the story, man. I followed that story from start to finish, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah. And
I haven't seen any chatter.
Nothing.
I have not seen anything about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anything at all? I haven't either, man. And it's crazy.
That's what's so scary about it.
Why don't you tell the story to everybody about? I don't know. I don't want to get too much into your personal business, but why don't you?
Oh no, this ain't personal, man.
Yeah.
This ain't personal. This affects everyone because if it can happen to my son, it can happen to your son or your daughter. Okay,
Absolutely.
or your sister or your brothers or any of their children. Okay, it's pretty simple. The mother lied to the courts. The judge took action. Panicked in the courtroom, found out she messed up. So I basically got run out of the courtroom with no due process. Okay?
Wow.
And I get held in contempt by the same judge with the mother. And an order basically giving the mother the right to dictate whether or not I get to see my son. And she took that order to the school and stopped me from being able to see him at school. 5.5 years later, being denied due process over and over and over and over here at the Marion County Courthouse. I'm not scared to say where I am and what's going on. My head will not go in the sand.
I got a funny story.
Dog.
Here's a very funny story, and it's
let me tell you the worst part about this, man, and everybody needs to understand this.
Yeah.
A year after the mother had him, she's got problems. I'm not even going to go into that because I'm not about trashing the mama. That's what I'm here for. My concern is my son. He was a year after she had him. He was borderline malnutrition. Well, they left him with her. Today, I got to see him on the 14th for the first time in 5.5 years. She sent him to me as soon as she left. He tells me how he's been threatened that if he tells anyone he's seeing me or her family finds out that he's seeing me, it could be a few more years before he could see me again. So I sent that information. I sent the Monday morning. I sent the information to the judge that I'm not sending him back under this threat. What did the judge do? Gives her a pickup order, sends 10 cops to my house to take my son from me. But he did set it for the court date.
Wow.
Today he is diagnosed with anorexia. He's 54.8 pounds at almost 12 years old.
Holy shit.
They're pumping him with Ritalin. Okay, I need as many people down at the Marion County Courthouse, Florida, on the boulevard, on 441 and Silver Springs Boulevard, as I could possibly get, because I need witnesses, because if they think they're going to run me over again and leave my son in this harm that their negligence placed him in, the mother was homeless when they took him from me. I had my home and business 17 years. Okay, this is how ugly it is. And it gets worse, and I don't even want to go into it anymore. That's enough for people right there that they should just be like, what? And okay, look, kids are dying under DCF's care. DCF's been involved with this. They're the ones that diagnosed him with the borderline malnutrition at Kimberly Cottage here in Ocala. Well, when I called him the last time in concerns for him, Kimberly Cottage wanted me to come in and have a secret meeting. Even my attorney couldn't come in. I told him take a flying lip. And then what happened, I found out the attorney's involved with my brother-in-law, who's the elected sheriff, helping get the other guy who beat him in the Republican primary ousted so they could get him in. It's as dirty as it gets here. Okay? And they're trying to hide this as much as they can, because guess what? They should be ashamed. And everything I knew was happening was true. The mother has been homeless, moving from one place to another place to another place. And that's where they placed him. They placed him in this arena of instability.
Yeah.
And it's affecting him. And they're trying to blame anything else but the fact that they ripped him out of his life at 6 years old and placed him in this instability. And it can happen to your child, and that's my point.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's a Marion County thing or what. I was in Indianapolis, and our county was Marion County. And my wife's kids got taken from her by her own mother, and we had to fight for 2 years in order to get them back. It was a long story, but in her past, she had signed them over temporarily so she could handle some college and some things like that. And then when she went to get them back, this was before I met her. When I met her, I told her, hey, we need to get your kids, and because that's the dude I am. And then we ended up having to fight for them, man. And we got them, and we ended up moving to Florida, man. And I understand. I know how the system is. The system we're just a number to them. They don't care who's the better parent. They don't care who's going to help the kids eat and not be 54 pounds. They don't care who's going to help the kids make straight A's. They don't care about it. They only care about the number. It's just the number. If the mother looks, typically they go with the mother, and that's just the way it is. But man,
see, that's just the way it is, though. That just the way it is attitude is why it stays the way it is.
Right.
You form up some grand juries. You take up some grand juries, and you indict these people for their actions, for their negligence and irresponsibility.
It's criminal. It's criminal, flat out.
That's correct. That's how you indict them.
Absolutely.
And
I'll tell you
these are crimes against...
Go ahead.
These are crimes against children. You ever heard of Nancy Schaefer?
No, I haven't.
You've never heard of Nancy Schaefer out of Georgia, Senator Nancy Schaefer. She was about to expose all the pedophiles involved in whatever they call them in Georgia, DCF, DPS, or whatever they call them over there. They always got little different three-letter names. But this is happening all over the world. I got friends all over the world on my Facebook page. And this ain't just an isolated situation or one state or the other. This has happened planetarily.
Right, I agree.
And we are the ones that are supposed to be protecting the children. And we are failing at our job horribly.
Absolutely. Now, if you would, let's go ahead and get some of these sites out to some of the people. I put them on my thing. I don't know if you have a Twitter or anything else that maybe we can give them right now to connect with you. I understand. Ken's Ball on Facebook.
I'm gonna put
Go ahead.
I'm going to put the grand jury. I use Facebook, man, because guess what? It's the quickest, easiest way to do this and to come together and share the information. Okay, people who are scared about Facebook, you may as well get off the computer then. Because if you think any of these social sites are secure, if you think that when you tap letters on your keyboard and go, oh, I don't want that, backspace or delete, and type something else, they got what you just hit with the keyboard, too.
Right.
People don't think that. You don't think that? Shit. I got news for you.
My wife is known for using the key loggers in order to try to catch people cheating. So trust me.
But no, I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about when you type something in a box somewhere. I don't care what you're doing. You get every keystroke. Okay, you can do a keystroke hack on anybody and get every keystroke they make. That's how they get people's passwords. Well, if you don't think that NSA, like we were talking about earlier, doesn't have that kind of technology, man, I would invest in the idea that they do.
If my wife,
so the idea of privacy,
I was going to say if my wife can do it, if my wife can do it, I'm sure that they can do it. I'm sure they have many.
Man, I know 12-year-olds. I know 12-year-olds that can do it.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to get this. I'm posting everywhere the Florida Grand Jury, Florida Forming Now Facebook group. I ask everybody that's interested in the truth and the Constitution and true justice out there. The Florida Grand Jury is Forming Now. It's a Facebook group. I posted it everywhere. Without a shadow of a doubt, share this. and I'm going to put it everywhere. I know on my personal page I don't have a shitload of friends, but on other pages I have connections, and I want everybody else to share too. And we're going to get this out there. I'm going to see what I can do about possibly making it to your court case. Unfortunately, my car was taken.
I feel you, brother. Look, there's a reason why they pulled the rug out from underneath our feet. Okay, this is more of the tightening of the noose. Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is more of that noose.
Absolutely. I'm going to try to get there, and I'm going to tell you what, it's time. Let's come together, Florida, and anywhere, everywhere. Michigan up with Chris, my co-host, everywhere. And we'll get together, and when we get together, we're going to go ahead and meet. And I know there's a lot of things that can't be said on air or on Facebook. There's a lot of things. I wanted to ask you a question. Just because you may be familiar with the militias out there a little bit more than me. It's something that I've thought about. There is a lot of fake militias set up by the government. I saw a story in which there was militias for every state. And some kid had tried to join it, and they were going to meet up with him, and he went to join them, and he got arrested for trying to join a terrorist group, even though it was just simply a militia. My question is this: how do we, or how does anyone, know which ones are legit militias? I don't know how much information or knowledge you have on the situation, but how do we know? And maybe you know, maybe is it something that maybe we just kind of keep our ear open in our neighborhoods? But
well,
online,
I would first of all would never just do a one-on whoever they might be militia group and go meet somebody that you don't know by yourself.
Right.
Okay. Sure. What do we know? There's power in numbers, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right then. Don't anybody ever do anything like that. All right? The reality of the militia group, man, that's the spill out in the street. And we don't want that. Okay?
Right.
And now it is the Second Amendment that tells us that we're allowed to have that militia. But a militia is made up of each and every individual. It's not so much as a group coming together and training, but the mindset to know that, hey, I'm going to protect what's right.
Right.
But again, we have to come together in the head and get that crap that they keep pumping to us. Because if you notice,
right,
when you look at mainstream media, it's the same story on every single one of them. Yeah. And they pump the same crap at you for a week or 2 weeks straight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. And there's a reason for that. Because they're pounding it in your head. But you're the one who's turning it on.
You know now that the government has labeled patriots, militias, some Christian groups.
But understand something. Right? It's not our government. Okay, it's a corporation. They're all private CEOs. They're all private contractors. I'm going to repeat again. Go look at Rod Class' 4th Administrative Ruling and read the 4th Administrative Ruling on court documents in black and white, and read what Rod Class dug up. He's one of the best instructors out there who's sharing these education. We are under a corporation, and we are the product. Your birth certificates are traded on the stock exchange. You think we're just a number. We're a commodity. And if they ain't got a use for you out on the street, well, they'll throw you in one of their private prisons for some bullshit and make money off your straw man that way. Okay?
Absolutely.
So if anybody understands what the straw man is, you're all upper cap names that you see on all court documents, driver's license, birth certificates, etc., etc., etc. Because they don't contract with you, the flesh and blood man. They contract with the incorporated fiction that they created when you were born. And who did that for you? Your mommy and daddy. Did they tell your mommy and daddy that they were basically signing you over to the state as a commodity? No. So it's all constructive fraud.
Look at the bottom of our birth certificates. It says that we're property of the banking system. And it's not funny, but reality is so much more crazier than fiction, man. It really is. It is insane.
Yes.
Ever since the New Deal.
Ever since that's all our children have been is just born Social Security is that's what you are, owned by the system ever since the New Deal.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you it again. All of those cohesive contracts were all derived through what's called constructive fraud. And once you have knowledge and you can speak against that, that's all you need. Okay? Not to say that they're going to respect that, because as we see, they don't respect the very law that they're supposed to be enforcing, which is, if I'm not messing with you or your property, we're good.
Right.
That's the golden rule, brother.
True.
And that's it.
Liberty, to the happiness. It ain't that.
Yeah. Oh, here, your brake lights broke, so let me give you a fine. Let me contract with you and give you a fine. So that way, not only is your taillight broke, so you got to fix that, but here, you got to pay us too because it was broke? No. Man. That's the business. This attitude of we can't fight City Hall, there's nothing you can do about it attitude is what we've lived through with our parents. Yeah. Now we're at the point where we're the parents, and we're waking up to this stuff. And they want to take that internet away because that's where this knowledge is getting out. And right now there's nothing they can do to stop it, because let me tell you something. Things like Pirate Bay, are people aware that for them to take down Pirate Bay, they'd have to take down the entire internet?
Right.
Well, there's a lot of that on there. There's a lot of that where
they've been losing that. They've been losing that war. So I don't know if they can do it unless they take down the entire thing. You're right.
Oh no. Watch the interview with the guy who created Pirate Bay. He'll tell you straight up. The only way they can remove this is to remove the internet. Okay? That's why it's so frustrating. Why would they be worried about Julian Assange and what he's putting out there if they could really just remove it?
Right.
If they could stop it. They can't stop it, man. This is an unstoppable freight train.
Yeah.
And it ain't coming off the tracks, you know?
No,
Kind of reminds me of Ozzy.
No, it's not. I'll tell you what, man. I see me and you aren't too far from each other. I think we're only, if you're up in Oakville, we're only a couple 100 miles. I think up 3-hour drive or so up I-75. We're not far off from each other, man. So I'm going to try to get up there.
Man, look, I'm not going to hold you to anything. It's not about you're 3 hours away, but there might be some listeners that might live right close by. This is just about witnessing what happens. Okay,
Absolutely.
Because I need witnesses, but I'm going to charge this guy with treason if he does anything less than send my son home and scold the crap out of Mama. As bad as she's been, I don't want her in jail because that'll just hurt my son.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, sure, go evaluate her if that's what you guys got to play games with her and make some kind of money off of her. But this needs to stop for everyone. See, I feel she's a victim in this, too, because they allowed her lie. They knew they were negligent, so they just wanted to cover themselves and let her roll with this at the expense of my son's welfare. I had my home 17 years, my business 17 years. Guess what I got left now? Nothing. Okay, I had a limo, a car lot, 4-bed stores. Guess where it's all at? Gone.
Man,
they want to
we got to stand up for and I'm with you, man. What you do, and I hate to use this word because I know everybody thinks of it so deeply and so negatively. You're starting a revolution, man, in your own way, and I like this, and I want to be part of it because here in Florida and all across the country and all across the world, we need this. We need people to stand up and say, hey, no, here's our laws, here's our rights. Let's start holding people accountable. If you're killing people with drones and you're militarizing our police and you're setting up unconstitutional checkpoints and you're taking people's kids, it's time to just start holding these people responsible and sending them to jail. It's time that
let me share this with people. I don't have a donate button. I don't have a website to turn you to with a donate button. You're never going to hear me asking you for $1, and there's never going to be a dollar sign attached to my ass in this effort. And that's another problem. We got all these people out here. Oh man, we got the answers. Can you send us $1? If you can just send us $1, you know what? Take your dollar and your fiat crap money, because you're just turning right back around to the very system you say you despise, because you need bills of exchange. You cannot turn this effort of freedom into a dollar sign and a business. And I understand people have to support themselves and they have to support their efforts, but there are so many free avenues to do this.
Right. I'm taking
That
one
we, the
right now.
people, can come together on this from our homes. And it won't cost a dime other than what you got invested in your internet connection. And shit, you're probably going to keep that regardless of what you do.
Right. Congregating on things like this. A radio show, which costs you nothing to listen to. You know, go ahead, sir. You're right, though. You're right. I agree, man.
Yeah, go ahead. Anybody got a word?
What was that?
I said, anybody got a word?
Anybody got a word?
A word, because I've been on a rant here, so I'm going to take a break for a minute and back down.
No, I know. That's what we were hoping to get from you. Chris, man, I know you're around there, man, and I've been talking my ass off, too. We've been talking our asses off. Chris, you've listened to this wonderful and sad story at the same time. What do you got, Chris? I know you've been sitting back quiet.
Yeah, I've been appreciating your rant and listening to it and getting to these listeners and letting more people know that there's people out here fighting to, as you said, meet, get together, make plans. One day they are going to shut this internet off, and we have to have some type of plans and things to do in advance. And if not, we're doomed. I this whole rant you got going here, I'm just soaking it in.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Hey, we don't start showing each other some kind of love, at least a form of love.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you were saying on the race war, too. Like, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, green, purple. That's not the point here. You got to be a libertarian and care about making our Bill of Rights be back in the #1 agenda across the nation, nothing but them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you got people that want to get involved to do nothing but cause problems and try to hinder your progress. You know, we find that within the Libertarian Party. And I'll give you an instance here. I was putting up what was going on with my son, and all somebody had to say was, why all the upper caps? I would have felt bad for you if you didn't use all the cap locks. But what the moron didn't understand was the letter wasn't from me. It was written from my daughter to her mother. And I was trying to share just how drastic the situation was, but all they were worried about is the fact that there was a bunch of caps in this this letter.
That shit pisses me off more than anything I see on the internet. I swear, I swear to God. No, I get so infuriated when people do that grammar police shit, and they
grammar Nazis.
Yeah, we're not really yelling, and they act like we're really yelling at them like they're intimidated by it. You know, some people just don't turn off the caps lock, and your daughter obviously didn't. And I'll tell you what.
No. She was making emphasis, and some people just use cap locks to make emphasis. A lot of people use cap locks because guess what? They can't see. That's the best way they can do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's letters, big or small, but they are so refined to this ridiculousness that you're right. It is infuriating. You just like want to reach through the computer and smack somebody.
Yeah, because you want to know what the hell is so screwed up in their life. That's what they think when they get on the internet. Oh, gee, that guy's typing all caps. Oh shit. I don't like his message because it's in all caps. They don't care about the message. They care about what the hell the text looks like. You know, I don't get it.
Yep. When I get that, I'm just like...
I agree with you on the cap locks, but there is things I ain't gonna lie. I'll be guilty of it, and I'll correct someone quick on the internet. Like earlier, I was talking about someone called Snowden a traitor, but T-R-A-D-E-R, like he got traded from the Jets to the Eagles or something. It's complete different word usage. You don't need to come on here sounding like you know what you're talking about when you don't even know the words you're using. That shit also gets on my nerves. I mean, I agree with the cap lock, like, oh, stop yelling at me. Maybe I'm just trying to get my point across since you ain't paying attention. That's why I'm using the caps lock. Maybe, like you said, I slipped the button.
Look, man, let's give it up to our education system, all right? Let's give it up to the education system that we have. All right? A lot of people, they don't even know using cap locks means you're screaming.
Yeah. But
They just don't.
no, I didn't even know that for a long time, and I'm a damn journalist.
But let's kill the messenger.
Yeah. Let me tell you a funny story. There's an old man in Sanford, Florida, that is getting death threats because his name is George Zimmerman. And the dumbasses are threatening him, and his last name is spelled completely different than the George Zimmerman. And so these assholes that can't spell anything are giving death threats to like a 79-year-old man because they don't. Our education system it does suck, and that's why I homeschool my children.
Well, let me give you an instance. Let me give you an instance here. I ain't seen my son in 5.5 years. I haven't for a few days there. I asked him, you ever heard of you know what the Constitution is? He says, I've heard of it. All right, that's the school system. Guess what? You pull a grand jury together and you go indict them for treason. Because guess what?
Right.
It is in the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and our Constitution that it is to be taught in school. Guess what? They ain't teaching them because they want them dumber than a box of rocks. So when they get them in front of the judge, they ain't got an idea that they're in front of a jurisdiction that doesn't have jurisdiction over them. All they have to do is not consent. Now, I give it up to Adam, man. He's shaking some waves. But remember, these people, Alex Jones, Adam Kokesh, all these people that get into this media sensation on the Internet and got dollar signs attached to it, it really kills them, okay? And when you got, I mean, look at, he's got 1,000 people screaming out in the streets. Why not take those 1,000 people, go through them, vote in a grand jury, and go after the corrupt official? Don't stand outside screaming a building. They just think you're an idiot. Absolutely. And I put this stuff over to Adam. I said, man, come on. We got Title 18, 241, 242 constitutional criminal complaints that we can do a non-judicial administrative consensual lien process for treason. And it's a home run, buddy, because it's not done through their judicial system and it's not done on the judicial side. So you combine that with a grand jury. Grand juries have all the leniency that they can get, but this thing has to be put together meticulously to protect everyone that's involved. Because don't you think that the intimidation? I mean, I don't drive a Mercedes or anything, you know?
I know what you're saying. Ken, I know you posted the phone number, man, and all of that, too. We got a caller that's been on hold for a few minutes. I was going to bring him on in to see if he had a question for our guest here or just a general comment.
What's the area code?
541.
Yeah, bring him on. That's Ed Johnston.
541, you're live on Kingdom of Truth Radio. Thank you for calling. Who we got, and what kind of comment or question do you got?
Oh, my name's Ed Johnston. I'm Oregon Trackers. I'm the United States for America Elected and Public Employees Oversight Committees, and we're all on the same page, and I'm liking what Ken is talking about because this is the bottom line. The only way we're going to make changes. People live in too much fantasy and prayer. They don't live in actions and reality. And so, and that's where I have to agree with Ken on the point. It's like Adam had all this stuff. People get these groups together. Nobody is educating the people on their rights to come up and solve the problem. Because if they solve the problem, oh shit, they wouldn't get the debt notes passed to them that they're trying to grab the debt notes on. Because if you solve the problem, oh, we wouldn't have the debt problem. You know, Ken's on the... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the debt problem is what they live on. So you're right.
Right, but the debt problem is not our problem. Remember, they created the debt. So those who signed for the debt are liable by their personal assets. Those who did not do not. That's why I tell people, if you have a credit card, you're stupid. If you take loans, you're stupid. Because now you are part of the problem. You have actually committed treason against your own country instead of going out and piecemealing it and earning your rights.
Yes, sir.
All right, because when you use their debt notes, technically, and I'll explain this, because everybody goes, oh, how does everybody get busted in drug deals? Now, understand, I don't care about people who want to use drugs. That's their life. Let them kill themselves, all right, if they choose that. But it comes down to personal responsibility. So you know medication, so when you're injured, how to take medicinal use and be responsible and take the authority away from them and put it back in your hands so you're responsible for your life. They don't like that. Trust me, I'm living it. Okay? But when you're using their debt note, let's say if you buy a bag of pot, or what they call marijuana, because the legal terminology is hemp, so that way it's personal use. But when you use that debt note, that's how they put you in a criminal activity, because you've committed treason by using a debt note, and that's how they get you busted on this stuff. Now remember, 28 U.S.C. 841 Prohibition Act has never, ever, ever been passed by Congress or the House. Never.
Go, Mr. Johnston. Go, Mr. Johnston. Go, Mr. Johnston.
I mean, this is what gets to me.
Look, let me hold on a minute. This guy's the real deal.
They haven't. Huh?
This guy's the real deal. He had a gun in his face last week with the guy just shaking with his finger on the trigger.
They've been trying to shoot me for years because I educate people and I speak out. And I can testify, no problem with the 1980 drug war bullshit is all a fraud. I was in the middle of it. They actually put a movie together on it. It's all a fraud. Okay?
Wow.
And when they went after the Jefferson, when they went after, what was, huh?
I was going to tell you, Ed, next week I got to have you on here as a feature, man, as an interview yourself. I've been loving this with Ken, man. But
let me tell you, I've been through more shit. I've had guns shoved in my face, not only on more than one occasion. I've been shot at. I've been through all this shit, stabbed. The cops try to beat me to death. I've been through so much you wouldn't believe. Okay?
Well, he's got video. He's got video to that effect.
I refuse to sign my rights away. And including to the doctors, I refuse to sign my rights away. That's why they've been trying to take me out. And not only that, I have an Inspector General's report, if anybody wants a copy of that. It's the second one in American history that clearly states the Democratic Party is trying to take out an American.
Wow.
Okay, it states it in it. All right, this is not a joke. I got senators and congressmen panicking, running away, district attorneys, state attorney generals. I've gone through 2 in my state already. When I try to bring my case forward for them to do their job as their employment of 5 U.S.C. 2906-3331, everybody starts panicking because, oh, my God, if we solve the problem, we might not have a job tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. What would Alex Jones do if peace and prosperity hit the planet tomorrow? What would he do?
Good point. Good point. Oh, man.
Yeah, good point.
He only goes so far, and then he stops giving you answers. Okay,
Holy
I'm tired
shit.
of no answers and no action and nothing getting done and the same old sad stories coming across the line every day.
Holy shit.
And that's where we got to stop this. And let me point out something.
Let me ask the host here. I don't know the
Go
host,
ahead,
but the host, have you ever heard of William Gaston, the Gaston case in Oregon, where the state of Oregon molested a 6-year-old child and tried to prove evidence on the father they never filed on, but they raped a 6-year-old child, the state of Oregon foster parents did, for a video for the state DHS. You ever hear about that case?
No, sir. You're blowing my mind.
You type in the Gaston case. I'm their minister, okay? We were able to get this up on the Senate floor. We had it all laid out. This is back in 1999, 2000, had it all laid out. Oh, my God, the Democrats panicked because we were exposing the fraud of the courts to the Bible.
Wow.
This is what people don't understand when you're living this crap.
Yeah, they shot Nancy Schaefer, Senator Nancy Schaefer, who was getting ready to expose the pedophile ring in Georgia. They shot her and her husband dead in bed and called it a suicide.
Yes, they did that because they had an open and shut case because they realized their own employees, the public employees, were the ones instituting this to keep the budget going. That's like in 1985, Department of Motor Vehicles for the state of Oregon was supposed to be shut down. I have the documents on it, shut down. So does the Department of DMV now does, too. I made sure of it. They were supposed to be closed down in 1985 for violating constitutional traveling rights. They said instead of shutting it down, that they were going to leave it open, but they were supposed to honor one's right to travel.
Oh, man. Hey, I got to
Okay, all right. I don't have a problem keeping some employees going on that, paying them to protect my rights to make sure that when I buy that tag, by the structure, including, people don't understand, when you buy license and buy license, registration and all this stuff, by law, they have to carry the insurance on you because you contracted them to be the insurer.
And for listeners,
they don't tell the
again,
public
hold on, Ed. For listeners, understand, Rod Class 4th Administrative Ruling will go through that methodically. There's talk shoes, there's links, and there's the information that describes and confirms everything that we're talking about.
Wow.
Mr. Johnson hit it. We're a tag team.
Hey, Kim, just
yeah,
a
but
little
not only
side note. I just wanted to say, Kim, a little side note about the Gaston case. I see it was in Marion County. We were just talking about that Marion County stuff, man. Are you talking about Mount Angel, Oregon? Is this where this?
Yeah, but this is Marion County, Oregon, not Florida.
No, I know. That's a case in Oregon. I had a child case that I had to deal with in Marion County, Indianapolis, Indiana, and he's got a child case he's dealing with in Marion County, Florida. Just
you think the dots connect?
Oh, man, it's just I don't know, but probably not, but it's just a side note. I got to ask you this, Ed, what do we do? Because you guys got so much and it's blowing my mind, so I know there's a lot of people out there that are probably like, okay, now I see what they're saying, and you're right about Alex Jones. Alex Jones doesn't want a resolution. So my question is this.
Neither does Al Sharpton. Neither does Jesse Jackson. All right? You got to understand, these guys are trying to make a racial issue, and if anybody understands racism, it's not color.
Yeah, let me hit you where it hurts, everybody. Hold on, Ed.
Hang on a minute. Let me explain racism for the listeners so they understand reality. Okay? The one thing about racism is not skin color. If you believe in your Bible, okay, all right, they come after you. You're a majority, so that's racism then, not your color of skin. I believe in what my founding fathers wrote, not only in our Constitution, but administration and municipality bonds and stuff, the original structure to keep legal Americans. So we had the free life when they turned the Banking Act over in 1913 to 33. All right, they put these provisions in that we're supposed to have legal Americans have their debt write-off so that way we lived a free life. Oh, my God, they could not have that to comply with the Constitution. So that's where they started going, oh, well, we're going to give you a complex if you don't earn your way. Well, excuse me, I don't have a problem earning his way when he wants to buy a motorcycle or, something else, a fishing equipment. But your basic needs and plus, water, electricity, the life survival, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was and is protected. Your electrical bill companies, the public, you own them by your birth certificate. That bond is your ownership. Okay, so that's where you have to come in and separate yourself and start being the employer instead of having, these people that you bow your head to and you think that they're gods and they know what's going on. These are your employees. All right? The one thing about elected and public employees, that is the point people have to understand. These are employees.
Civil servants.
So when you
I was saying that earlier about the police, that these people are not rulers over us. We pay them.
Well, the police departments are hired bodyguards, all right? They're nonprofit agencies. I know this personally. Okay, The police have no authority coming on anybody's land. There is no code enforcer or statute laws. That is British maritime. So they have no authority. This has been proven in numerous federal court cases that they don't have authority even to protect your life. Their job is to protect the mayor and city council and administration of that city's lives, not yours. That's their job.
In other words, they're the private security force for the CEOs that we all think are public officials. They are not public officials. They are private contractors. Rod Class 4th Admin Ruling confirms this. Let me hit this for the listeners.
Go good.
You know how this East Coast, East Coast, West Coast rap competition crap?
Yeah.
Now I mix music. I mix the West Coast with the East Coast, with Canada and Australia, Europe, and England. How they like that? They want to go toe to toe on that. You know why they did that? Because they're using the music industry to divide us. And that's a hard hitter right there.
I know that. I lived in the music industry for years.
I know, Ed, but I'm kind of expanding on that for the listeners so that they understand. They're using every tool they can to tear us apart and make us dislike each other.
Yep.
And that's where we have to wise up.
Yeah, Bloods, Crips, white, black, everything. You're right, 100%.
That's right.
And the only thing that can
we
bring
pull
us
together, they're screwed. We pull together, they're done. We walk like an Egyptian, Yeah, we walk like an Egyptian. 300 million of us show up at Washington or at our capitals. We get the majority of every state to show up at their capital and say, look, game over, like Iceland.
Right. I think just
I have a group called Iceland Comes to America Rally. I'll post it on
and
your
look
page
it up
as well.
on Facebook, everybody.
I'll
Go to the back of Ken's Talk Shoes. Listen to the shows that we have done in the past explaining rights. Now, when we explain this stuff, we are going by not only the Republic of our Constitution, okay, because the Republic means, and you as a sovereign, you are the king. You are not a beneath. All right? You are a king of your country. So if you own your land, you are a king. It's like the old expression is where I hang my hat is my home. That's the kingdom. When you rented apartments, that's why William Jefferson Clinton with HUD housing changed all HUD housing, if everybody recalls that, when he said you couldn't have firearms and you had to go through security checks in these buildings because, oh, that's right, the federal government, who is the British government, understand the separation of reality of the world here. The federal government in every country in the world is the British government. All right? That is a known fact. Type in federal government on the internet. You'll see it. It's British government. They know this.
You just justified my nickname. You just justified my nickname. I've been going by king all my life because I believe we're all kings and we have our kingdoms and we must live like that. It's just insane that you just said that because a lot of people don't understand what I mean. And what I'm saying is that no one in this land is higher up on the totem pole than us as individuals.
Well, let me explain one thing. You are right, and I am right.
Hold on, Ed. Donner?
The only reason why I'm still on my land is because of my rights. All right, I bought and paid for land. All right, I didn't take a loan on it. I did it the right way.
Hold on, Ed. Hold on. That is why it says he is the King of Kings.
Yes.
Does that make
in the
sense
Bible,
now?
yes, the King of Kings.
All right, this is the reality. The reason you're frustrated with the biblical principles is because they've been coming out of the mouth of lying men, lying about what it says, and not telling you the pertinent parts of what it does say. If you think the government's running a scam, you don't know nothing until you get into the biblical principles and understand how much sense they make in simplicity and common sense. And what they've
and the bloodlines.
And complicate it so that they're turning you off to it. It's like hearing a song that just, I can't even listen to the first few notes. And that's what they've done.
I do want to tell you
one thing. They want to get you to turn.
Go ahead, let the host speak a minute.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What you got? You're kind of light in the background there.
Oh, I just wanted to tell you, I've studied religion for 15 years. I've studied I've read the Christian Holy Bible 15 to 30, well, no, about 30 times. And the thing about it is I just wanted to let you know, I'm not an atheist that just doesn't care or never cared. I do care, and I do want to know, and I do look at many of the biblical principles as the laws of the land, and I love them. I love the biblical principles. I just have a little bit of trouble with some of the stories, and I'm kind of working them kinks out. But I will tell you that I actually do have a deep desire and deep love for the holy books to learn. Sure. I still to this day read them to learn. And
sure. And let me give you this. In the scriptures, it tells us that even those that don't believe, because my children perish for lack of knowledge. Okay. But they have a form of love, but deny the power thereof. So it's not about we don't care about each other. Okay? It's about denying the power thereof, which relates to the Constitution and those constitutionally guaranteed inherent rights endowed to us by our Creator. Because the Founding Fathers were not going to try to nail down the controversy at that time. So they had to leave that to the individual, as it should be. They take away our individualism. I'm going to get some Snoop up in here.
That's where the point comes where the man is the king of his land, and this is where women don't like it because the man is over his woman. But the women have to understand I mean, we have been so screwed up by TV and all this shit for the last 60 years. All right? The man used to bring in the educational materials and stuff that he wanted to make sure his family knew the right way. The woman was the one who referred everything. They conversed, and that's how the children were taught to listen and learn by the parents, mother and father.
Correct.
Okay? And we have lost
a certain
that reality right now. Because
there's a certain order
the women always, wait a minute, let me finish here. The women, and I don't care what people think, I'm telling you the way it's supposed to be. All right? The women are supposed to listen to their man. That's why he's the king of the castle. If the woman is not happy, the king sure to hell ain't happy, and everybody knows what I mean by that. All right?
Yeah.
So that's the point where the working relationship, when you get together with somebody. Now, there is no such thing as marriage by a piece of paper that the Pope and the churches and your state and counties have produced. Marriage is when you unite with a woman, all right, you're taking that responsibility on, and you have to take that choice. And I hate the word choice because that's bullshit. That's what they call democracy word. You have to take that responsibility of yourself when you make your decision for the woman of what that woman is going to do for the children of your upbringing. And it doesn't matter if it's from your loins. It matters of how the children are going to understand how not only to survive in the world, but to navigate, and I'm using the British term navigate, through their bullshit of maritime law. And when the children understand this, and you can start teaching your children realistically, 2 years old. 2 years old to 13. And if they don't get it, if you don't start realistically at before 13, when all of a sudden they get the influence of the media and the influence of the dividing of the prophecy of their bullshit education, all right? When they hit 13 years old, their mind is already projected, and that's by TV shows, commercials. You can watch TV shows you think that are appropriate to the children, but you don't understand what it's doing to their mind at their age. You're looking at it from your point at your age. You're not understanding how that is going to affect them down the road and what will trigger off certain psychological things. Now, they have done hundreds of millions of billions of dollars of surveys on this and know what will trigger off a kid on certain circumstances, like even Oregon, we've had the school shootings. The kids were on drugs by the psychologist. Oh! Well, if they didn't have the psychology and understood that if they were taught their responsibility, those shootings would have never occurred. Because in the state of Oregon, most people kept the gun on their dashboard and in their car, or even in the back window. Some still do, thank God for those. But I carry mine on my dashboard and stuff, and we have a legal right. Now, it wasn't until the last 15 years when everybody starts coming down on anybody carrying a weapon to defend themselves, or arms, but the legal terminology is armed, to defend themselves. We have started there and started voodoo against each other instead of saying, hey, what happened to the incident? Was it a justified incident? Look at the circumstances. A case-by-case issue. You cannot put everything in one deal, because when you go to court, and I can speak proudly on this structure of the structure when I'm pissed when Oregon changed, when my brother was accidentally murdered or if he was an accident shooting, the jury and the family are supposed to do this. The court system and the judge has no authority in the courtroom. He has to go by what the fourth branch of government says in the courtroom, the jury. And I fought this in this state for 20 years. And I've pissed off a lot of people stating this, because like that, when I'm in jail last Saturday, Sheriff Stephen Fry, who ran for sheriff, and the guy that was in my court hearing when the judge railroaded me on, my house was robbed by the Toledo Police Department. You see how the corruption works? So anyhow, he tells me when I'm in this deal last Saturday, if I don't sign this notarized, what he's the notary, and I love his little print down going thumb down to hell when he stamps it. I mean, I catch the message. I ain't stupid. I can understand how these things work. So he stamps my deal and tells me if I don't sign it, I'm not going to get medical attention. I'm going to die in Lincoln County Jail. Now, they've been after my straw man account. Now, understand your birth certificate is a bond and straw man account. That means you are a stockholder. That birth certificate gives you the stockholder authority over the, what is that called? The board. But as soon as Americans...
Real
ahead.
quick, I want to listen. We only got 45 seconds left to tonight's show. I didn't expect it to go this long, but you guys have been amazing, and I'd love to continue this next week. Ed, I don't know if can you get me your contact information, but I'd love to bring you on the
already
show
on
next
its
week.
way.
Here, 54. You got a pen? I'll give you my number. I don't give a
Hey,
shit.
me and Ed are
People
tag
know who
team,
I am
man.
around the world.
WWE.
541-336-1233.
Absolutely. I got it on the switchboard. Definitely, Ken. I mean, Ed, and I definitely appreciate you guys coming on the show. Next week, I'd love to continue this. We got 10 seconds left. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kingdom of Truth, episode number 5. This has been a wonderful show, and we're going to see you next week.
Love one
All
another.
right, guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and make sure your prayers come by reality, by acting on them. Read your responsibility. Be responsible to make your prayers happen.
Absolutely. And, gentlemen, my switchboard's about to shut off, and I definitely want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I'll get in contact with both of you, as you know.
God bless all.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ed. Later.
Bye.
All right, Chris, we're in overtime right now, I believe. You still with me?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's all I can fucking say right now is wow. That was amazing. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, we had something in store, bit off more than we could chew, but it's a great thing that happened, and for the people, that are out there listening, now you know the show's legit, in case you doubted it. I mean, it was anyway, but...
Absolutely. We're bringing... absolutely, man. The people that we just brought in, Chris, holy shit, and we haven't even got to the big-timers yet. This was big time, but what I mean is this was our first guest to come on the new show, the new Kingdom of Truth, and I think we hit a home run because Ken Ball showed these people how to stand up to this government, and then he brought in Ed. They were saying shit I damn near didn't even understand. I had to Google it. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing. See, and when you're a truther, you're just going to continue to be enlightened, and that's what we do here. And that's what they were talking about. Ken was talking about it. It's one person. It's like I said before it even came on, a trickle-down effect. It's word of mouth. Word of mouth, and the way of the American people is the only way we can beat this. It's the only chance we have.
Absolutely, man. And what I want to do right now is we were talking about the kids and how MSNBC says that they're not ours. So what I want to do for the listeners is go ahead and play this ad that they put out, just in case you doubted us, when they say our kids do not belong to us. Here we go.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
Did you hear this movie, bitch? Excuse my language, but do you hear this, bro?
Yeah, it's like should be Eric Holder's wife.
Yeah, I cannot. Excuse my. I'm sorry for calling her a bitch, but I can't help it. You're telling me my kids aren't mine, and I have a large problem with that, and it's just insane to me that could even happen, man. There's so much news that we didn't get to that we can touch on a little bit now, Chris. Hillary Clinton. There's going to be a Hillary Clinton miniseries. What do you think about this shit? A Hillary Clinton miniseries. First of all, I wonder if this miniseries is going to have all of the scandals, such as Benghazi, such as what happened back in Arkansas. What are your thoughts, man? Are you going to be tuning into the Hillary Clinton miniseries?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out just 'cause. But honestly, I grew up in a household with my grandmother and my mother were basically the only people there. Like my mom had a stepdad, but you know what I'm saying? He is an alcoholic and an addict. So for the majority of the years, like I only had my mom and my grandma, and neither one of those were educated past the high school education. So that being said, I came up in a we love Bill Clinton household. Like, Bill Clinton was the second coming to JFK in my childhood. Like, we went to his rallies and things like that. So we loved the Clinton family for a very long time. I loved the Clintons all the way up until I found out about this. Like I said, I voted for Barack the first time. Not the second time, the first time. But when I did, I was straight, liberal. Like, you know what I mean? I'm straight blue. I'm Democrat. Like, woo, woo, woo. I mean, so I had all these great feelings towards the Clinton family, which now, I was kind of shocked and slapped in the face to find out the things once you're a truther, you find out all the things you do. So that being said, I'll be interested to see, what it'll be about. I know it's going to be backstories of Arkansas, and of course they're going to leave out the Benghazi and the things like that, and how she ran against. Here's another a joke against us, basically. Like, they say they're against you. Remember how Barack and Hillary went head-to-head for the first presidential bid, and, just were slandering each other up, and then all Secretary of State. Like, the next day, I'll just sign you up, because we're still all in cahoots regardless. But I'm interested to watch the Hillary, of course, just so we can decipher it, pick it apart, and talk about what they leave out.
Yeah, no question, man. Let's go. I'll probably peep it out, check it out a little bit. I'm still tripping on the guests we just had, man, because they blew my mind, and they're right. And
me too. I was speechless. My man was like, "Anyone want to add?" I'm like, "Do your thing right now, and enlighten, because that's what's happening."
Absolutely, man. Now, we talked about the internet being illegal, damn near everything you do. Now, check this shit out. The DHS says that something that we do, all of us do, almost on a daily basis, is illegal through, and I'm going to explain this to you. The DHS is now demanding, through the enforcement from the state fire marshals, that all live music played in the United States must have a permit from the Department of Homeland Security. This is an outrage to freedom and the ideals of the American people and our quickly evaporating rights. This is just the start to the reality of what the Department of DHS is going to do to the American citizen. They're saying it's illegal to play music or operate a business where music is played for any reason without paying the DHS and giving them much personal and private information. The DHS can regulate the performance of a song. Where do you think they'll stop? The fact is that they won't. Now, we talked about the internet. Now we're talking about music. They have to approve and give us a permit. Is what they're saying, is what they're demanding now, in order for us to play music outside. If I go outside with my let's say a harmonica and try to play music, I can go to jail. What are your thoughts?
It's disgusting. The Patriot Act is the only reason the Department of Homeland Security has any jurisdiction in the first place. I mean, this is just another intentional act of trying to take the rights away. I mean, I'm picturing like, okay, so that means if I want to go to a Mexican restaurant for dinner, when I go there, I want to hear Tejano music when I walk in the doors and sit down and have my meal. When I go to Little Italy, I want to hear like some Sinatra in the back. Ain't that a kick in the head? I mean, something. So this is like appalling to me. Like, okay, so now there's no. What about a jukebox? That's illegal. How about a boombox? You're walking down the street with the radio loud, like you're on your porch. It's summer, so what? So now you're gonna stop by and tell me I need a permit to play my music? What if this make car stereos illegal? Like you can't even have 6x9s, let alone banging some 10s and 12s, 15s in the big body. So what are they really doing? But this is what I was talking about earlier about making every daily law-abiding citizen a criminal. If you can make every daily law-abiding citizen a criminal for these things that they don't even know is laws, they've already got us by the balls. Because they can take you at any time for a made-up infraction.
Absolutely. No, you hit the nail on the head. And you're definitely right. That's the goal. Is if they can make us all criminals, they can do whatever the hell they want to anybody. And I think that's what their goal is, man. That's what the goal. Halliburton, they've admitted to a cover-up in the Gulf spill. They have, now I live on the Gulf, so I'm pretty upset at this bullshit. They have admitted that...
You're upset, but you're not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. But, I mean, it does, in fact, infuriate me. And they did it just to admit it so openly and so arrogantly and just you know, hey, yeah, we fucked you up. Deal with it. You know what I mean? To me, that's a problem. I mean, I'm glad they admitted it, obviously, but at the same time, I think this means they're getting extra arrogant. When they can sit there and say, hey, we covered it up, we did this and that, we didn't want you to know the truth, to one of the biggest accidents, one of the biggest events we've seen in the last 15, 20 years that destroyed our ecosystem in the Gulf. They can just now say, hey, yeah, we did it. Motherfucker, what you going to do about it?
They're doing it up here with Asian carp in the Great Lakes as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Right. I know they've been doing some stuff up there in Lake Erie, I believe. I don't remember exactly which one, but it was insane.
Like Michigan, like the Asian carp, they're letting the Asian carp in. Like the legislation, they voted it down to put a stop to it. Like you said, messing with the ecosystem. That's what made me think of it, bring that one back up to today. So it isn't just in the Gulf. The Great Lakes, where many fish come from too. They're trying to cut off more food supply to send it through the roof to make it unaffordable. That's, I feel, the food scare. That's what's coming. The food scare.
Absolutely, man. Well, I mean, we got a little bit more things. Just to quickly go through the stories. Dozens of Earth-sized UFOs orbiting the sun, but NASA is silent on them.
The size of the Earth, correct?
Say what?
I said the size of the Earth, correct?
Yeah.
The gathering. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that the gathering was like the size of the Earth, equivalent of these UFOs.
Yeah, it's insane, man. And why the fuck does NASA keep lying to us about this? And you know, the thing about it is these objects are not on fire. They're at the sun. They're not leaving a tail like a comet. They're not as hot as the sun. Instead, these objects look calm, cold, and unscathed by the heat. That means it has to be an object like that. Any other object would be burnt up, or at least show signs of being hot. For some reason, they're not, and so I don't really understand it. But I do know that it's pretty insane, and I can't wait to see where that goes. No question about it. JFK, man, you know, a lot of conversation's been going on about the Secret Service being told to stand down. It's well known now. Is that the icing on the cake? I mean, we all know the Bushes are involved. We all know everything leading up to the JFK assassination. But, you know, the Secret Service being told to stand down, being revealed to us, how important is this? Does this kind of put the icing on the cake for you?
I didn't need icing on my cake, but for people that may have, I mean, how can't it be? If you're looking for a reason, there you go. I mean, the documents that are supposed to come out in 3 years were already sent back to the vaults again for a longer time because of quote-unquote national security. Why? Because it's an inside job. I mean, Oswald was nothing more than a patsy, and they set it up. I mean, there's the lack of Secret Service in there that day to stand down, despite that there was. Just to go on the angles and tricks that they would have never happened.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean, man, and you're right. There's just so much stuff. I don't understand why I haven't went crazy yet and started just slamming my head against the wall. Everything is just so nuts to me. Here's another thing from NASA. There's been sharp increases in comets entering our solar system. I'm a big Nibiru Planet X guy. I believe that it's here. It's coming. And it's going to push all the asteroids in. And now they've talked about finding a huge planet. They've recently talked about that. And now we have these comets. in a spectacular new photo that gives a deep space view of the comet Ison, which could Ison, or however you want to say it, that could put on a show when it zooms past us. They're seeing a lot more of these things pushed into our solar system. With that being the case, to me, that increases obviously our odds of being hit, and we all know there's been many mass extinctions before. So my question
I
to
think
you, my
ISIN
friend,
is an acronym for something.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Say what?
I said I think ISIN is an acronym, isn't it? Or is that just a name?
Yeah, I think it actually is an acronym. I don't know what it's for. But on April 30th, they took some photos, man, and they've seen a lot more. So I'm kind of curious about the whole thing, of course, and we'll see where that goes.
Hey, Gunner, do you think that could tie into? I said, hey, Gunner, do you think that could tie into the Snowden?
No, maybe. Oh yeah.
I'm
talking
about all the activity in the solar system, all the new activities in the solar system, like
by the sun. Everything seems to be going on by the sun too. You're right.
Maybe the Mayans were a year off. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a new study that says religion to disappear by 2041. I don't know what to think about that. I think religion has been going on since the beginning of time, so I don't really see that as happening.
Same. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, unless the New World Order does come together and we do have one world and one religion and one, then that's a scary thought. So we'd have to keep our eye on that one as well, man. I don't know.
We won't be around for that one.
Yeah. Our favorite guy in the world, Obama, Mr. Sotero, Mr. Berry, he promised his original promise on Change.com to protect whistleblowers. He has now taken it down. It's gone from Change.com. I think that says a lot as they're trying to get Russia to give them Edward Snowden. You know, they're saying they won't kill him. They're saying they won't torture him. But to me, for him to take this off of his Change.com, I think it's full of shit. I think this is saying, hell yeah, I will. And so this is kind of spooky to me.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you. It ties in with the Bradley Manning as well. Like, to me right now, arguing in his case, they're talking how, he let go over 700,000 leaked documents, and there's no way he could have read all those or known what was going on with those to send them through. And that's their whole argument of saying that he's a traitor and all that he's doing could damage, and him not being a whistleblower, but in fact a traitor. That's what they're trying to prove. Well, in fact, this man had access to over 1.3 million documents.
Oh.
So it's not like he he didn't just let out every single thing. He skimmed through, and that lets you know that more than half of them are suspect. Like, put on your thinking caps here, people.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's what you have to do.
No, absolutely, you're right, and no, you're absolutely right, man. And it's insane that all of this stuff is going on, and people ain't paying attention, man. People ain't paying attention, and these whistleblowers are the sheep. All call them traitors without knowing shit, and it's insane. People forget that this man went to China first. This man didn't just run off to Russia to give our secrets away. He went to China, and China made it very clear he felt that China was going to give him over. And so he left for Russia. He only left for Russia on his way to be going to South America, and some shit got screwed up. So it's not like Edward Snowden ran to Russia to say, here, Russians, here's how we defeat America. He didn't do that.
Not at all.
He's not
at all.
So
for the novice listener, what Snowden's living right now is, if you've seen the movie Tom Hanks in The Terminal, that's basically what Snowden's life is right now. He's a man with no country. His passport is kind of no good. He's out here on a searching asylum. Now it was just released yesterday that the Obama administration will not take death penalty charges, I guess, supposedly in a nice note. But to me, it's treason to speak of, wanting to give death penalty charges to someone that's not treasonous, that's actually, in fact, a whistleblower and a patriot at heart. Like, to me, you, the guy's the hero. Like, to us, we're terrorists for saying it. Like, that's what these listeners don't realize. You go out on a limb and do this, put your neck out. It's your belief system here is in favor of the very Bill of Rights that we're protected to serve, and these, the troops are protected to serve. And then how many suicide deaths? Number one, we ain't got time to get into all that right now this week.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Perfect.
Man, you're hitting the nail on the head, man. And the final story that I got here, and then we can just talk about whatever or close up shop in here in this overtime, comes from Infowars.com. USA has now approved drones for civilian use. I don't think people realize what this means. First of all, the military is not even supposed to even be involved in America, inside our country. But now, not only can we have American military, they've got rid of Posse Comitatus, however you say it, but now there's drones. Which means since they're labeling all of us patriots as terrorists, they can literally drone the shit out of us. They can literally, and this is insane. As a country, this is something we have to stand up against. I'm not calling, especially here on the radio, I want to make it clear, I'm not calling for any kind of violent revolution. But at the same time, we have to stand up. We have to talk about this shit. We need to go to our, the people in charge, and we have to make it clear this shit is not acceptable. This shit is not acceptable. And if that means we got to get with Ken Ball and do these grand juries, we got to do it.
It's ridiculous. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg said himself in March that drones will soon be used by the NYPD. It will become as ubiquitous as security cameras. I mean, let's open our eyes. I mean, are you sickened yet? Are you scared yet, people? Does it matter to you? Is it okay that American citizens can just be dropped on with no due process? I'm talking about, do you think they care about your family? They'll piss on them right like the ones that are with us. They're a branch of our information system. We can't have that. That's bringing down the structure. So it ain't just going to be you. It's just be your whole family, too.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. And this shit is getting, this shit is getting out of hand, man. And this is why we do the Kingdom of Truth. We want everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we want everybody to share the information we share with you. Yeah, we do a lot of different shows each week. We put a lot of things out there that's funny. We put a lot of things out there that is just all out silly. But the Kingdom of Truth is the flagship show. It is the serious show. We want you folks to share this show. You know, there's no reason in the world that our bullshit funny shows throughout the week. Yeah.
Like the men were saying, we're not in this to make $1. Like he was saying earlier, this ain't about us making $1. Share this for yourself, not for us. Share the Kingdom of Truth for you, for your children, for your grandchildren, for your rights.
Because at this stage we make. Go ahead.
I was just saying for your livelihood.
Absolutely. And at this point in time, man, we don't make any money. We do this for free, and this is just the beginning. I've started YouTube videos that I'm about to do. King JB Raw. Chris, I know he likes to do the videos, so maybe we can get some from him, and I'll edit them and get them up there on page 2.
I need to do a What You Talking About Willis. I need to get my What You Talking About Willis going. I don't know if it's going to be a video blog or a written blog, but I have to get What You Talking About Willis under order.
Well, that's what I suggest you do, is the video version. We are about to get off, ladies and gentlemen. We do want to say thank you. Tomorrow, I believe, is Let's Talk Sports. That is tomorrow night, correct? I'm sorry, my schedule. Absolutely.
It's correct.
Make sure you guys
tomorrow night doing it again.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys tune in to Let's Talk Sports tomorrow if you're a sports fan. And then the next day we got King JB and Mukai Moromo, real shit. And if you guys didn't get a chance to hear the show last week, check it out. It's definitely a hilarious show. But I do want to say this. As much as I'm glad you guys are listening to the funny shows, I want you guys to listen to this serious show. This show should be the most listened to show on our lineup. And that's the bottom line.
Share it. Show it to your friends. Like I said, for you. Like, yeah, we want to be heard, but not just for us, for everyone. Get the point across.
Yes, sir. And we're going to continue to do everything we can to spread the message. As I said, the YouTube videos should be starting this week. If Mr. Willis is ready and he wants to do some, then I will gladly help with the editing and get him up there. We'll get him an intro and outro and get his videos all smoothly edited and put up there. And that's just the way it'll go. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this week's show. Next week we will have N.A. Poe. Next week we will have Ed Johnston that was on the show this evening. We will bring him back for a small feature because I just don't see how we can't. I'm working on, and the big news is I am working on bringing in potential future governor of Florida, Adrian Wiley. I'm working hard on it, and I'm going to continue to work hard on it, and hopefully we can get someone in here. I'm working on possibly bringing in the constitutional sheriff that we all know got fired and suspended, Nick Finch. I got some big things I'm working on right now, and the Kingdom of Truth will do nothing but get bigger. And we thank you for helping us get bigger. And
yes, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
no, I'm
absolutely.
just adding to we appreciate it. We to the listeners.
Absolutely, man. You guys are what we do this for. We're glad to be able to fellowship with you about what's going on. And for now, this is good night, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, I'll be waiting for next week all week. And just like I did this week, it's my favorite show of the week. Let's get it going. And we'll be back. See you guys next week or on some of our future shows. Let's Talk Sports tomorrow night at 9. Any last words, Chris?
No, that's just been a great show tonight, Gunner, man. Hopefully all the listeners keep tuning in. And like I said, share this out there. You can listen to it not just live. You can listen to it more times this week. Share it with your friends. Share it with yourself. Parts you might have missed. There's a lot of potent stuff in here tonight, so give it a listen. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely, an archive. Plus, we're going to put this on YouTube. I am going to start putting our radio shows on YouTube to get them out there so it's easier for people to listen. So we're going to start getting them all out there, no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have it on iTunes by next week. I'm working on that now. So don't worry about it. We're going to give you plenty of ways to listen. Even if you're in your car, don't matter. We'll make sure you have ways to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, for King JB and C. Willis, this has been Kingdom of Truth, Episode 5. It's going down next week, too. Holla at y'all.
We out.